Hey everyone, so I saw this article on loopings.nl talking about the rock and roller coaster at the Walt Disney Studios Park at Disneyland Paris. It's closing next week. The 1st of September is the last day of operation. Up until 8 p.m. The ride and the park are open. Day after 2nd of September, it's basically going to be closed. They are going to keep the roller coaster itself, but all the theming is going to get ripped out, and they're going to turn it into an Iron Man roller coaster. So that's opening, I think, maybe the end of next year, or it's going to slip into 2021. They are changing this whole backlot area in the Walt Disney Studios Park to Avengers Campus, it's going to be called. And it's going to feature the Iron Man roller coaster, of course, and a new dark ride. Spider-Man will be there as well. And that is going to be in the place of where the Armageddon ride is. The article I saw yesterday on loopings.nl is actually talking about the fact that there's not a closing ceremony for the rock and roller coaster, which is, very sad. Maybe they think because it's just a retheme, this is not necessary, I guess. And it's surprising to a certain extent because Armageddon did have a closing ceremony. It actually looked quite decent. There was like a projection on the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror of a space shuttle going up to space, and they were counting down. It looked quite exciting. There was some effects, some smoke effects, as you can see. Really weird. I mean, this closing ceremony looked quite good for the Armageddon effects ride. But I personally think that the rock and roller coaster ride is far, far better and far more memorable. So very strange that there's not going to be any sort of commemoration to the fact that this ride operated for 17 years and brought so much enjoyment to people. My main memories of rock and roller coaster, well, I was back out there in May just to refresh my memories, and one of the reasons I went back to Disneyland Paris in May was also to ride this the last couple of times, of course. But my memories are just of like an excellent queue line where it felt like you were going into a record company with memorabilia around you, with jackets and guitars. That kind of stuff is just awesome to see, and those are all real memorabilia of rock heroes. They had some props, like some doors as if there were studios, and you could always hear sounds there. So that was really cool. Then there was like a pre-show where you see the band come out on a sort of screen. It's made to look as if they're actually in a studio, and you would see Steven Tyler talk about that he's dreaming about music and riding a roller coaster, and then and he sings that part like going down and all this and that, and it's just awesome. And then, of course, you go into the station, which had this fantastic atmosphere as if you're backstage at a rock show. And then the spotlights when the train comes into the station that you board. The trains would have this funny name. They could call them soundtrackers. And amazing launch, fantastic ride experience. I never filmed this one myself, but I've got some footage I can show you from other people. I'm sure it's fine. It's just a fantastic roller coaster. It's probably my favorite ride for a long time. Between 2002, I first rode it when the actual Studios Park opened in 2002, and I went back there about 4 or 5 times between 2002 and 2009. Then I had a long sort of time off between visiting the park again until May this year. And I have to say, not a lot changed. Of course, the Ratatouille ride was added. That was really the main thing that was added there. By then, the Armageddon ride, of course, was closed. I wasn't too fussed about that. I never thought it was a fantastic ride. So it's surprising to see that, a ride like that got a closing ceremony and Rock and Roller Coaster does not. But the only explanation I can give, I guess, it's because the roller coaster is actually staying to a certain extent and it's just going to get a massive retheme. But for me, the actual Aerosmith theme and the rock theme around Rock and Roller Coaster is really what made the ride, because the ride itself does have a replica at Wallaby Holland, and that used to be the Superman ride. Now it's platform 13. It's like done as if it's a travel agency or something like that, and Yeah, it's okay, the ride, but it's not a patch on the indoor version where you had an amazing light show and hear awesome music on the train, of course. So there's no onboard audio on the Wallaby Holland version. So it was really, for me, the theming that made the rides, and the launch obviously is fantastic as well. But it's it's just one of those things. So it's a real shame, I think, that this is closing anyway, and it's maybe also sad that there's no closing ceremony. I most likely wouldn't have visited this next week anyway, but it's just one of those things. It's just nice to see, even if you see a recording of it on YouTube, that they could have said goodbye to the ride in a good style, I think, So, yeah, I think it's sad, and it's a bit of a sad end to an amazing ride. There is still the Rock and Roller Coaster at the Disney Hollywood Studios in Orlando, of course. It looks kind of different, has a slightly different theme. There's a little bit more props during the ride, but I actually quite like the sparse version of the Rock and Roller Coaster version at Disneyland Paris, where it's more like a stage show, light show, and music. I really liked it. I thought it was a really cool theme. It was always my favorite indoor roller coaster. So I wonder what the Iron Man retheme is going to bring, if it's going to be anywhere near as good as Rock and Roller Coaster. I personally don't see that happening, but we'll, can't judge a book by its cover, so we'll have to wait and see once that opens, and hopefully they'll do a good job. I think they'll get new trains. My main complaint back in May was that the corkscrew was incredibly uncomfortable riding it with these old-fashioned restraints. And towards the back of the train, that was definitely quite bad, and you could leave the roller coaster with a bit of a pain on your ears, and you get that sensation very much on the Vekoma SLCs as well. So hopefully they'll get new restraints, new trains on there, maybe do a little bit of track work. I don't think it would go amiss if they did that and really smooth things out for another 17 years at least. So we'll see what happens with the Iron Man retheme. I'll definitely keep you posted on this channel about that, and if I get out there in the next couple of years and re-ride it, once it's been rethemed, I'll let you know what I think about it, of course. So anyway, let me know your thoughts. Do you think it's a shame that there's not a closing ceremony? Are you sad to see Rock and Roller Coaster close? What are your best memories of this ride? Let me know in the comments below. Are you excited for the Iron Man retheme of this ride? Have you got any thoughts what they could do? Should they base it on some music as well? There was some AC/DC music in the early Iron Man movie, so are we going to get some of that? I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.